This is gonna be a fun video. It's time to get catty. Look, I love design, so I have to get into 10 stupid dated design trends that builders put in new homes. Oh, this is quite the list. Look, I got 12 items here. I don't even know how to rank them. So please comment down below, because I'm sure I'm gonna get lots of critics. Some that agree, some that disagree with me. Give me your comments down below, but also rank which ones you think are your biggest pet peeve, the design trends you hate that builders just can't let go, that might be 10 years old or 20 years old or just stupid from day one. You know, one of my biggest pet peeves is not having a defined entry or a foyer. When you just open the front door right into the living space, you need some sort of just transitional space, some space where you can come in, drop things, hang coats, especially if you're in the Midwest where it's cold, and kick your shoes off before you dive right in the living space. Look, I don't want to open the door and have my pizza delivery guy see right into the living room and all my personal space. It's not his business. So we need some sort of transition, whether it's an actual formal foyer or just an entryway or an arch, something that works to have an entry into the home. This goes for condominiums as well. I can't tell you how many times when you come from the common hall and you just walk right in the living space. Little defined entry, even a slanted wall there makes such a big difference. Okay, another big one. I don't know why we saw this so much. It was probably that whole industrial style that was taking off, that trend last decade, but black cabinets. You're not in a noir film. Don't do all black. Black to me is something that a flipper would do because they want to go all black to hide all the imperfections they did from the lack of using skilled carpentry or nice materials. Having black cabinets is like having all brass or chrome or stainless satin nickel cabinets. You wouldn't do that, right? So don't do all black. Black is meant to be just like gold, chrome, and stainless. Accent pieces on hardware only. Also, black makes rooms look super small. Black is just not meant to be on your cabinets unless you're in the Crow movie from 1994 or you're Ozzy Osbourne. Just don't do it. All right, let's talk about some other things that annoy me. Formal dining rooms are a space that are just going away. We don't need them anymore. In today's modern homes, spaces need to blend more functionality, like open floor plans where the kitchen dining rooms are more of two spaces together because people gather in the kitchen. It's such a popular space, particularly for events and gatherings. This has become much more popular than having a separate dining space, which people rarely use and don't get used for that purpose. Speaking of kitchens, two-tier islands where they do the counter up like that, it just breaks up the space too much. They just don't function like they're supposed to. For usability, you need one continuous countertop. It has more space to lay things out, and it's more important than trying to hide all your dirty dishware that you're just too lazy and didn't want to throw in the sink or dishwasher. Another big one that bothers me, this is like, I get it. Your builder's gonna try to convince you that it's okay, and every time you look at it, you're like, it just doesn't feel finished. And that is no trim on the doors or windows. The no trim on windows and doors, the drywall return that your builder wants to tell you is trendy, is in no way a finished product. They want to tell you it's a finished product, but your brain keeps saying it looks unfinished because it is. Do not let them convince you that it's not cheap, because it's cheap. Newsflash, the reason you're asking yourself if it looks unfinished is because, well, duh, it does. So trying to validate the process of cutting corners is so wrong, builders. Wendy's founder, Dave Thomas, would be so disappointed in you. And though it works in some styles, it's very hard to incorporate or done in a way that it looks finished. Speaking of drywall, another horrible design feature is rounded corners. They can look kind of cool, I guess, but when you're trying to paint two different walls, like a transition between your living room and dining room, you just can't do it. There's no corner. It's a rounded corner. It's gonna look stupid. So go away from rounded corners. This one's big on me. Garage homes. And you all know what I'm talking about. That massive garage that just sits in front of a house. You're like hunting for the front door. You're like, hey, welcome to my garage. The house is out back. We need to do better than just having a garage in the front with the doors hidden somewhere on the side of the house. Aesthetically figuring out how to incorporate a garage with a house is so important because the primary goal here is to have a house and garage second. Okay, this one's just dumb. Everyone hates it, but for some reason builders still do it, and I get it. It's probably a cost thing, but microwave vent hoods. Nope, nope, nope. Cooking fumes, misty oils, all that stink, the heat, the carbon monoxide should go outside. It should never circulate through your crappy microwave filter and then suck out and blow out right out of the top of the fan above your microwave. It's just a dumb design. Get a vent hood. We need to keep odors going outside, not inside. And this even goes for condos because nothing's worse than smelling your neighbor's food down the hall. Ugh, I hate this next one. This one has driven me crazy for so long. It's time you stop doing this, everyone. The corner pantry was so overused by every male builder in the early century. I mean, this style is so terrible aesthetically, but it also doesn't even work functionally. Corner pantries interrupt your workflow. They throw a big honking obstacle in the middle of the room, and they aren't even that large. They have a great deal of space that's just wasted on this awkward corner. Now for aesthetics, the kitchen is one of two rooms you want to invest money in, the other being your bathroom. But putting a giant closet in your kitchen is like having your washer dryer in your kitchen. They just don't blend seamlessly together. Look, this just tells me that your builder lacks the creativity and thoughtful design in locating a more efficient, effective, and aesthetically pleasing pantry concept. And if your builder can't figure it out, send me your floor plan. I'll show you how to do it. There's a ton of options that don't involve having a giant closet in the middle of your room. This style, I'm sorry, HGTV is gonna be mad at me. Joanna Gaines is gonna come up from Waco, but the modern farmhouse has to stop. After a decade of overuse of shiplap and barn doors and distressed wood, just stop it, stop it. It's abused, it's overused, it's a beautiful style, don't get me wrong, but we need to have a little bit more originality and personality in our home designs. Modern farmhouse was a style that's all about a place. It's a rural setting. So unless you're living in the country where it makes sense, you don't need to fit out your urban condo with a bunch of reclaimed barn wood and barn doors. This style should be retired and let go. Okay, this one's a big deal if you're a real estate agent because these things are a nightmare. They're always broken, they never work, and they're completely unsanitary. And your dream of a romantic bath just isn't gonna happen. Jetted tubs. Apart from them being expensive and large and taking up a lot of room, they're just not practical. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, I imagine myself at this romantic evening and I'm drawn to this relaxing idea of a deep tub with warm water and a significant other with candle lights and rose petals and Kenny G music playing in the background. But guess what? They're not that. And here's why. One, they're extremely noisy. The sound of the running motor and pump is so loud, you're not gonna hear your Kenny G. And the bubble baths and jets, they just don't mix well. What happens instead is you tend to get just a bunch of foam everywhere. They also take way too long to fill up. And that's a problem because a typical water heater isn't big enough to fit most jetted tubs, where you need between 50 to 80 gallons of hot water for a jetted tub. That's all the hot water in your house. So anyone else that's looking to get clean, well, guess what? You're SOL. But this leads to another big one, because when you're sitting in these nice warm tub, the problem is they're not outfitted with heaters. So within minutes, the water is continually getting cold and you're no longer sitting in a warm bath, which just, what's the point of a cold bath? But one of the bigger reasons these last two are so big that they irritate me in my industry, because I see it all the time, is they're always requiring ongoing maintenance. And it seems like every time I have a resale property, they're being sold as is, meaning they don't work and the manufacturer warranty period's over and you can't order parts anymore and it's about worthless as just having a giant hole in the ground. But the biggest reason that I hate jetted tubs is they're just disgusting, gross human soup. Trying to clean these things, which you should do at least twice a month, which no one ever does, is almost impossible. And that's why every time you turn them on, you get little bits of black and green algae that float in the bath water. That's from all the internal network of pipes and nozzles and jets. They're just too hard to keep 100% clean. So if you're trying to get clean, a jetted tub is not a good place to take a bath. Oh, and last and not least, and perhaps probably the one that I hate more than anything, particularly if you follow my channel and you've seen before, I hate barn doors. Look, there's no function or practicality of them as a door. Aesthetics aside, the sliding barn doors are just terrible at being doors. They don't create any kind of seal-to-block sound, odors, or light. Also, they take up an entire section of the wall when the door is open. They're just a terrible design. It's cheap and easy to install because you don't need a finished carpenter to do it, but it's just something that needs to go away because they're not doors. Have a door or have no door. That's it. All right, go through my list. Comment. What do you agree on? What do you disagree on? Passionately, I'm sure, on some things. Comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know which ones bother you the most. Is there ones that I'm missing? I'd love to know what we need to look at and examine more on design videos. If you enjoyed watching this video on design, make sure to subscribe down below and check back for more on design, luxury listings, and the Iowa City real estate market.